Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CPA Moms podcast. I'm Nicole, your host and the brand ambassador of CPA Moms, where we believe that real success is only meaningful if it holds up in every area of your life. What we call the 4 F's: financial, firm or career, family, and fitness. If one area is failing, then the others won't feel like success, even if they are all thriving. You can have a successful career and climb the ladder, but if your family life is falling apart, it's still not going to feel like success.
Hello again. Today we are continuing our productivity series. And we are talking about rhythm. So, have you ever felt like no matter how organized you are, no matter how many lists you make, you still feel behind? Like you're constantly trying to catch up, but you never actually get there? If that's you, I want to gently suggest something. It's not that you need a better planner. It's not that you need more discipline. It might just be that the way you've been taught to think about productivity, it just doesn't actually work for your life. Because here's the truth. Balance is probably one of the biggest lies that we've been sold. It's a huge buzzword, work-life balance. And I'm not buying it. I just don't think there's a thing of work-life balance. I want to introduce you to something that I believe is far more realistic, far more sustainable, and really more freeing. And that is the idea of rhythm. We talk about harmony a lot, and we call it here work-life harmony rather than balance. Balance just feels like you're committing the exact same hours and effort every single day. And then you're just sitting here, like, I almost think of what is it? The scales, right? Like the court justice system scales. And you're just sitting here in a state like this. And everything is just even across the board. You're spending the same amount of hours doing each thing, and you're just here, right? And I just don't think that's realistic. So we're going to talk about harmony and rhythm. And so, one idea of um, productivity and being able to get more out of your day is listening to your body and just listening to the natural rhythms. Now, in the last episode, I introduced this idea that productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters consistently. And rhythm was one of the 3 key components that I brought up that I said I would be talking about. So here we are, right? Because before you ever get to your to-do list, before you ever even open your planner, your productivity is already being shaped by how your life actually flows. As I mentioned in the introduction, there are times of your day that you are thinking more clearly, that you have more energy. There are seasons. We have just in a year 4 different seasons, and our body reacts to those 4 different seasons. So, depending even on the season of the year that we're in, will affect how your life is flowing. So, what do I mean when I say rhythm? Rhythm is just the natural flow of your life. It's the patterns that repeat, whether you intentionally make them repeat, make them happen, or not. And the key here is that rhythm exists whether you design it or you don't. As I said, it's not intentional. You aren't out making something happen. It just naturally happens. So the question, excuse me. So the question isn't, do I have a rhythm? The question is my work rhythm working for me or against me? Because we all have these natural rhythms that just happen. You may not even be aware of it. You may not even know it's happening, but it is happening. And if you start taking a look and realizing, you'll see these rhythms that are going on in your life. All right, so there are really, I'd like to talk about 3 layers to this. There's a daily rhythm, so how your day flows. And again, the some of it is the habits that you've put into place. I wake up, I go and I brush my teeth, I go and get my morning coffee. The kids wake up and chaos starts, right? Some of it are structures and habits that you've put into place. Some of it is dictated by other people. Your kids wake up and chaos starts. And some of it is just based on your body's natural reaction to it, and it's how your day flows. And then there are weekly rhythms, so how your week is structured, and same things are affecting that. It's the habits that you've put into place. It's the fact that the um, garbage truck comes on Thursday morning to pick up your garbage. So Wednesday evening, you take the garbage can down to the end of the driveway for it to be picked up, right? It's some of those just structure that get put into place. And then it's also other people's schedules and their rhythms that come into place. It's what days of the week that your kids have activities, or maybe every Wednesday night you go to church, whatever that structure is. And then there's also ebbs and flows in your body's energy level. And again, the way that your body is reacting just to being out in the world, and the way your body's reacting to the activities you're having you do that day. So some days, we are all different and we all draw energy from different things and expend energy on different things. So, sometimes getting up in front of people and speaking will gives that person energy and they just thrive on it. And afterwards, they just feel like so energized and ready to go run a marathon. And then other people, they speak in front of people and they need a 3 hour nap. They are just drained. So it also depends on the activities that we're doing each day on how our body will be affected and react to the things. And then there are seasonal rhythms. So how your life shifts over time. There are so many things that can affect this. The age of your children, the season outside in the world, um, other factors going on with if you're married, your husband or spouse, and things they have going on in their life and their workflow and rhythm. And also, obviously, we are accountants, so tax season, monthly close, right? Those are all rhythms that impact us and our body and how we react to them. And so seasonal rhythms, I think that sometimes we get stuck here. Your life isn't the same in January as it is in July. School is a huge one that I hadn't even mentioned, right? The rhythm of your children going to school each day has a huge impact on your day, on what time everyone's waking up. And yet we try to operate like it's all the same. It should all be the same. I'm doing the same things every day. I need to commit the same amount of time to this activity, to work as to family, and on and on. And that's not rhythm. That doesn't work. That's us forcing balance where it can't be forced. It's just not realistic. So I remember a time when I was trying to do it all every single day. Again, I introduced in the introduction that I was with the kids through the day, was keeping the house clean, cooking, doing all the things, and then trying to at night spend the same amount of time almost getting client work done and meeting those firm career goals that I couldn't get to during the day because I was with my family. And I wanted to be fully present for my kids. I wanted to show up at a high level for my clients. I wanted to take care of my home and work out and meal plan and da 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 da, all the things every single day. And what ended up happening was I felt like I was failing at everything. Each piece, like because I wasn't committing enough here and I wasn't committing enough there. I wasn't getting enough done there. I wasn't getting enough done here. And I just had built this version of productivity that it didn't match my real life. I mean, there were days that my kids would take a 3 hour nap, and there were days they would take a 30-minute nap. But I was trying to treat that day and get the same amount of stuff done this day as I was this day. And it just didn't flow. And every time that it didn't work out the way that I wanted or that I had planned, that would produce this stress and anxiety in me. Why can't I make this work? Why can't I do this? Why is everyone else successful at this and I'm not? I'm horrible at it. And I just can't do this. This is me. It's my fault, right? And the shift came for me when I stopped asking myself, how do I fit everything into every day? And started asking it differently, like, what does this season of my life, my day, my week actually require of me? What is it that I need to get done today? What what are have tos, what are musts? Again, the idea of this is what I want my life to look at. What are the most important things? And according to the rhythm of my body and my life, pick from those things to get done. So this is where I see most people struggle. They try to do everything every day, just like I was. I was ignoring my energy. I was ignoring my capacity. I was ignoring the season of life that I was in. And I was thinking that the problem is me. And I've talked to so many people that are doing that same thing, ignoring their energy, ignoring their capacity, ignoring the season of life that they're currently in, and just trying to do it all and feeling like a failure when they couldn't. And, I see this as the problem that you're trying to force a system onto a life that it wasn't designed for. And so this is really important. Productivity is not just about time, it's about energy. You can have 2 hours and get more done than you would in 8 if your energy is aligned. And I've seen this so many times in practice in my real life now. Um, I back then when hadn't understood this concept and really grasped it, it wouldn't matter how I was feeling. It wouldn't matter if the kids were up all night and I didn't get any work done because I was working at night and I didn't get any sleep because, they were sick. They were up every few hours, which means I was up every few hours. But I would still try and force myself to get stuff done. Well, I had it scheduled and this needs to get done. And it wasn't this needs to get done even. I said that and I mean that's not truly what it was. It was a this needs to get done, right? I said I was going to do it today, so it must get done. Uh, the house isn't clean and oh my goodness, what will happen if my house stays dirty for a day, right? I must get this done. But we have to consider our energy and just, again, our life circumstances and the season that we're in and work with that rather than try and fight it. And as accountants, you know this better than anyone. There are seasons when your workload's heavier, your hours are longer at work, your capacity is stretched. And then there are seasons where things ease up. But if we're trying to operate at the same level in every season, like I was doing, like I know that a lot of you are doing, you're going to feel like you are constantly falling apart. You are constantly failing. You are not handling it. You're not doing what you need to do, what you have to do, what you should do. You're not doing it as well as everybody else, right? All of the stories that we tell ourselves. But what if instead of chasing balance, you started designing rhythm. Instead of expecting yourself to do everything all the time, you gave yourself permission to shift according to how your body was feeling, according to the night you had with the kids. So let's make this really practical. If you're thinking, okay, good, this sounds great, but how do I actually apply this? What do you mean? What do I actually do? I'm going to give you a few simple steps to start designing your rhythm. So first, identify your non-negotiables. If you listen to the introduction to this series, I basically said this is the step one for everything, right? Is getting really, really clear on your non-negotiables, on what you want your life to look like, on the things that truly matter, on your values, not on what somebody else is telling you they should be, not on what you feel like it should be, not on what social media is telling you, but what actually truly matters to you. And this can look so different for everybody. And I'm just going to give you full permission here, and I'm going to ask yourself to give you full permission to take away all of the judgment, to just sit and brainstorm and think about what truly matters to you and not then insert, oh, but I shouldn't care that much about money, or oh, but all the feminists in our history fought so hard for me to be able to work, and so I shouldn't not care about that. You know, whatever your story is that you tell yourself on the shoulds and the what it should be and what the world is telling us. Like, let all of that go. No judgment, right? And just what truly matters to you. And just start there and see what comes out. And it's okay. We're all different and it's okay. We should be. And what matters to you is what matters to you. And it doesn't matter if it matters to somebody else. It doesn't matter if it's the right thing to matter. That's what matters to you. And that's what's going to give you the energy and the drive to make this look different. And if you're still trying to build it on something else that isn't what truly matters to you based on what somebody else is telling you or what you think they want you to care about, then it's going to end up in the same place that it always ends up. It's going to end up feeling the same way because you're not building it based truly on what matters to you. All right, so step two then is build a default week. So instead of planning from scratch every single week, create just a general structure and just start with that. You know, it can be, and it's different for everybody. So I'm telling you, like, you are building this default week, and it's look at it as an experiment. I'm going to test this out and see if this works and see if it doesn't work and see what does work and see what feels good and what doesn't. And you'll figure it out as you start tuning into your rhythms and you start sitting down to do something one day and going, oh, this is off. I don't feel like it right now. You'll start figuring out, okay, like I have a lot more energy first thing in the morning. That's when I need to get out with my kids and go run around and play. And my brain is much clearer right after I eat lunch. So that's when I need to sit down and do some work. And, you know, I actually feel like talking right before lunch to people and meeting with them. Well, then that's when you need to schedule your client meetings, right? So you just start with building a default week, and it can be different ways. It can be you have certain days for client work, you have certain days for meetings. It can be time of day, so morning blocks and then afternoon blocks. Um, you just want, you know, protected time for those things that are most important to you, whatever those are. So it's just putting in blocks, and that gives you the foundation. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single week. You go, and this is my default week, and I'm going to try this out. And then you just have blocks that you kind of plug stuff into. And again, you may have to switch, and you may have to switch it by season. You know, you may find that this default week works really well for the first half of the year, and then I need to switch to this default week. But again, having a base, a foundation will give you that it will introduce the opportunity to make those shifts and really learn what works best in your life. All right, so then the next step 3 is adjust for your season. And this is key, and it means that the default week isn't rigid. It's not no matter what happens, then I'm sticking to this, right? It's meant to flex based on your season. As I just said, you may have different default weeks for different seasons, or you may find as your kids get older, this was my default week, but now I can shift it and this is my default week. Busy season is going to look very different than summer, and that's okay. That's not failure, that's just alignment. It's getting your life in alignment. And so those are the 3 steps. I hope they help you out. Please, take some time this week to walk through those and see what a difference it makes in your life. I think that so many women feel like they're doing something wrong when really you're just trying to operate in a system that doesn't fit your life. And the moment that you shift from forcing balance to creating rhythm and harmony, everything starts to feel lighter. It's not perfect, but it feels more sustainable. So if you take one thing from today, I hope it will be this, that you don't need more discipline. You just need a rhythm that supports your life. In the next episode, we're going to talk about planning and systems. We're going to expand on this idea of rhythm and really building the rhythm also into your planning and systems. Because once you have a rhythm in place, you now need a way to actually decide what gets done, what doesn't, and when. When does it get done? And so I'm going to walk you through a simple way to do that, it doesn't it doesn't leave you feeling overwhelmed. So until then, take a look at your life this week and just ask yourself, is my rhythm working for me or against me?
All right, that's it for today's episode. At CPA Moms, we believe that women can have a successful career and raise a happy family. If you are ready to embrace work-life harmony and connect with like-hearted women, join our CPA Moms Facebook community. Just click the link in the show notes or search CPA Moms on Facebook. We can't wait to welcome you. Until next time, thank you for being here. We see you, we believe in you, and we can't wait to grow with you.